It is March 18, 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Here we are, another update. Ladies and gentlemen, everything I will tell you are all rumors. It is public news around the world that I am bringing to you. Please remember to follow, like, share. Even my own thoughts and inputs are for entertainment purposes only. Let's get into it. You guys buckle up because this one's going to be a little bit long, but it's filled with a lot of information. I want to officially announce GG's to Iz. It's over. It's just a matter of time, but the process has begun and quickly finalizing. GG's. And may your evilness never find its way out of hell again. Amen. Let's get into the news and I'll explain to you why, and you can decide for yourself. But let me start off with a banger. The petro yuan is already in effect. China suggests to the Gulf nations to sell their energy in petro yuan. They get free Hormuz passage. China opens the Shanghai Gold Exchange vaults, co-custody by Iran and the Gulf countries. Then Iran and the Gulf countries are then able to convert their yuan surplus into silver and gold. This is pretty much the new normal over there now. This is what's going to happen, and this is how the shift will occur. There has been chopped brass that has been neutralized on both sides. I'm not going to get into that because honestly, it's insignificant. This is much larger than just people, personal. But let's get into the other news. The Strait of Hormuz will never return to its pre-war status, according to Iran's Ghalibaf. Trump is continuing to appeal to deaf ears that will not help his efforts to take back the Strait of Hormuz. China says that it will stop fertilizer exports. Saudi Arabia considered to accept Chinese yuan to end its conflict with Iran due to the failure of its protectors to protect Saudi Arabia. I mentioned this will happen. Countries will jump ship and go towards the new power forming with the BRICS nations. Without access to the Strait of Hormuz, Saudi Arabia and other Gulf countries cannot sell a single drop of their oil to China, Japan, India, South Korea, and the rest of the world. Saudi is losing a lot of money, and the Gulf countries are losing a lot of money per day by not being able to do this. The IRGC claims that its missiles successfully hit more than 100 military and security targets in revenge for their unaliving of Ali Lajarni, who was the secretary of the Supreme National Security Council from 2025 until his unaliving yesterday. Iran fired more than 600 missiles deep inside of Iz today. Iran is now using underground ghost missile launchers, which literally, their missiles are coming straight from the ground. Almost impossible to detect and attack. No visible launches or anything, just straight from the ground. The missiles just shoot up. And Iran has built missile cities that are 500 meters deep underground. China says that it will provide humanitarian assistance to Iran, Jordan, Lebanon, and Iraq. Iran reiterated today that Iran's political system is strong and deeply rooted. The presence or absence of a single individual does not shake the structure. Of course, individuals have their influence, but what is decisive is the strength of the system. It is surprising that the US and is still cannot grasp this. That's according to Abbas Araki. It is said that Iran has already lined up 3 to 7 successors for each of the top ranking positions to take control if any are taken out. It is said that is regretting that they tried to cross over the Lebanese border. They have taken large losses of soldiers and tanks. Now they are trying to get Syria to join them. You guys, I want to remind you that Syria's president is now Ahmed al-Sharaa, who was the head of Al-Qaeda, and he was installed into power of Syria. And he was shooting basketball in the White House last year. There's videos of it. It's insane. But anyways, Lebanon fired 20 rockets into the Galilee region without any warning sirens going off. IS took down an apartment building in Beirut and continues to attack Lebanon and Iran and vice versa. Hezbollah has threatened to destroy Iz and is now shooting ballistic missiles and cluster bombs into Iz, most likely provided by Iran, which they are coordinating their attacks now. And it's especially because the air defenses in Iz are almost completely gone. And Hezbollah has taken control of Natal, which marks the fourth town in Is, which has fallen to Hezbollah this week. Iran is now on wave 61 of Operation True Promise. Turkey has now rejected the request for the use of its airbases and airspaces at U.S. requests. Iran blew up a U.S. UAE linked cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz today that did not comply with multiple warnings to stop. Russia is still supporting Iran with satellite intelligence and advanced drone technology. Also, China has been helping in the same way. This is helping Iran to strike U.S. and IS forces and assets with precision. The first yuan-paid oil tanker crossed the Strait of Hormuz safely, and it is headed to Pakistan. So again, the Yuan Petro, the transaction, the first one was done, and the tanker is going to Pakistan. Iran's now officially using very strong toys on IS. Their decade-old stock is done, and now the more recent toys are coming out. Cluster warheads, missiles with massive power, and toys that can change direction mid-air. This honestly mind-blowing stuff, especially considering that Iran is one of the most sanctioned countries in the world since the early 1990s. It's crazy. Iran did also take out the Tel Aviv's railway station today. There was an Irani hacker group which obtained 50,000 of very secretive files that belong to the Mossad group, which has a lot of important info that they've turned over to the Iranian government. Sweden says that IS should be isolated and expelled from international institutions. North Korea announces that North Korea is already ready to provide full support to Iran when it needs. Kim Jong-un wins North Korea elections in a landslide victory, securing 99.3% of the votes. That's not rigged. Trump's economic advisor, Kevin Hassett, who was in line to replace the Federal Reserve's Jerome Powell, said if the war were to be extended, it wouldn't really disrupt the U.S. economy at all. It would hurt U.S. consumers, but that's really the last of our concerns right now. What a POS. Reuters says that Iran's threat of $200 per barrel for oil isn't far-fetched at all. Iranian Professor Marandi says that if Yemen joins the war, it's game over. Yemen will completely shut down the Red Sea, and they are fully capable to do it. He said that they've gotten stronger from before. Ace in Pali reasserts control in Gaza. And this is according to Fox, as is distracted by the war in Iran. Iran tells the Gulf states that so far they've only used drones on specific targets, but Iran can start using missiles on them if they need to. American expert Charlie Belillo says that the average gas price in the USA has risen to $3.79, which is the highest increase in the last 30 years. Countries allowed to pass the Strait of Hormuz now are Pakistan, China, Russia, North Korea, Bangladesh, Yemen, Lebanon, and Iraq. The U.S. is sending assault ship Tripoli, LHA-7, with 2,200 Marines on board over to the Middle East. Unfortunately, Financial Times is saying the era of U.S. dominance and economic warfare is over. China could help rebuild Iran's military after the war. Beijing may trade military and technological support for long-term oil access. U.S. Treasury to buy back $15 billion with a B of their own debt, surpassing last week's $14.7 billion purchased as the largest Treasury buyback in history. Stagflation is most likely here, and this is according to a lot of economists. So you guys look up what that is. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not looking good. And just remember, if Iran prevails in what they are doing, the BRICS nations, that side of the world, will dominate moving forward. The SWIFT system and the petrodollar will be something of the past. And the fact that we have emotional leaders that are as bright as a black hole, viable strategies and solutions just aren't taking in effect quick enough. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the updates. I will see you again tomorrow.